plot twist, most of this video I'm just gonna be killing off your sign. This reminds me of like my first few original YouTube videos. I don't know why I'm acting like I'm so like big on YouTube, because I'm not, but like I remember like one of my first videos on YouTube, it was like I was sitting on the floor like right here in my mom's house, and I was just like talking to the camera, but I think I was like using my webcam at the time, which was poor quality. And I don't know, it's just really funny because like I'm back at my mom's house, so I'm just like chilling and back on the floor again. Hey guys, so welcome to the Halloween milkshake series. Yeah, so today I'm going to be doing would your sign make it out alive in a haunted house, or no, in a horror film? Why or why not? Now this is just a fun, I feel like if I was being serious, if this wasn't like a fun video, if this was supposed to be like an intellectual piece, like, and you took this seriously, like that's weird for both of us. So obviously this is for fun. And I would apply your Mars sign, because Mars is kind of, I feel like it's kind of more of your like primal, like your fight or flight mentality. It's like how you deal like under pressure, like how you work through things, how you navigate through things. It's like your drive and motivation. I feel like I always say that when I talk about Mars, which is true, but still. So apply your Mars sign as well as your sun sign. I guess rising as well. I feel like we can't always forget about rising, but I always do because I suck. So yeah, let's dive right in. So Aries. If an Aries was in a horror film, would they survive? Why or why not? First of all, I'm going to leave my my thread about what each sign would be doing in a horror film down below, but this video is a little bit different than that, so I'm not going to be like using the same answers. If an Aries was in a horror film, I feel like they would die. I feel like they would die pretty soon. And I'm an Aries rising, so don't come for me, please. Don't be like, oh, you just hate Aries. I really like all the signs equally. Like, it's my job to, like, I don't have a favorite. But I feel like they would die soon because they're very impulsive, they're very narrow-minded at times, and they're very stubborn about how they want things to be done. They kind of act first, think later, and I feel like that's going to be their downfall in a horror film. I feel like they're like one of the first few people who is like lunging at the killer or going the wrong way when they really shouldn't be, and that kind of stuff is what gets you killed in a horror film. And then Taurus. Would a Taurus live or die in a horror film? Oof, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna say they die, like, mostly because most people die in horror films, but I feel like they would die in a horror film because, again, like Aries, they're very stubborn. They refuse to see where you're coming from if they don't want to see it. And I feel like if they feel like they know the way out and they're passionate about knowing the way out, they're not going to compromise that to potentially die, which makes sense, but at the same time, like, sometimes their version of the way out isn't always the best way, and I don't think they work well like in big group settings. I know it sounds like very weird, but I feel like they have like this very alpha personality where they have to like take over. So does Aries, but I feel like they have to kind of lead the pack, and like when they feel like they're not getting that kind of like follow me or listen to me kind of thing, I feel like they get really like they take it personally. So I feel like that's what is going to get them killed in the long run. And then Gemini. Gemini could live. Gemini is like that person that is so like unpredictably out there that you don't expect them to live, but they live because you don't expect them to. And I'm not saying this because like I think that they don't even have a shot. It's not that I think they're stupid. Of course I don't. They're ruled by intelligence. But I feel like they're so absent-minded, and they're so like the way that they focus on things is very like restless energy, and I feel like they can't stick or follow something through for very long. So I feel like they'll get distracted or they'll get nervous, and then they just kind of get like tunnel vision. So I feel like that's why they could get themselves killed easily. But I feel at the same time like they're so unique in their thought process that they're probably going to be that one person that like finds this really weird way out right off the bat. So overall I feel like they would live, but unexpectedly. And Cancer. I feel like Cancer would live only because they like went home. Like you usually see like horror films around like big social circles, big group settings where everyone's like around a campfire. And I feel like Cancer, I could see like swiping that invite and being like, I don't feel like going to that. I just bought new Bath and Body Works candles. I'd rather just be at home with my candles. Like, and I feel like that's very Cancer energy, but that's also very stereotypical Cancer energy. And I know a lot of Cancers who are very social and very much out there, which is contradicting everything I'm saying right now. But I feel like the core Cancer energy, like if you're just looking at Cancer energy not being affected by any other energies, which is a natal chart, what am I saying, then they'd be at home blowing off these plants. So they'd live, because they just wouldn't be, really. They'd be like the friend that, they'd be like in Get Out, like the friend that's like the police that like shows up at the end, but like was never really there because they just knew better. Like they just wouldn't f that. Leo would die. Leo would die instantly. It's not even that Leo is stupid or dumb. I feel like it's not even really about intelligence. I just feel like Leo would either be too sacrificial of a lamb and like sacrifice themselves for a greater cause, or they would just try to be selfish to a fault and not care about anyone else and get themselves killed even faster because of that. I don't know. I feel like they can either be like too good to the point that they get themselves killed, or too bad to the point that they get themselves killed. But they have a very hard time finding like that balance, you know? So they would die instantly. And then Virgo. Okay. Everyone already thinks I hate Virgos and I don't. So let me think about this. I think they would live, or they would be so assured in the fact that they're going to live because they already have this complex or this sense of feeling like they have things under control or they do things better than everyone else, that it's going to get themselves killed. So it's really hit or miss with Virgo. Most of the time they'll live because like they're so self-assured, because they usually are right about how self-assured they are, like how great they are. But I feel like that's also their downside. So it's like that's their downfall, but it's also what keeps them thriving. I don't know. And then Libra, I think Libra would live. Yeah, Libra would live because they kind of come off really like innocent and naive, but they are like extremely smart. And I feel like they don't think they dumb themselves down, but I feel like they hide who they actually are at times to like please others or to like blend in with others. They don't like to stand out too much because it might make other people feel uncomfortable or something. But I feel like they'll live. They'll be like the person that acts like they don't know what's going on, but then the minute something goes down, they're like, all right, here's a list of how to get out of here. I have a game plan. Here's a blueprint map. Let's do this. Like, they'll just surprise you. And then Scorpio, I don't know, because I feel like Scorpio would live, but then at the same time, like, they're so drawn to like, I feel like they'd be so focused on figuring out who is the killer that they get themselves killed, because like they're the person that's stereotypically seen to like chase after death. I guess they're like some gothic character that's like, oh, a killer, like let's be their friend. That's a really loose imitation of Scorpio, so take that with a grain of salt. But I feel like they'd get really concerned about who's doing it, and they would just focus more on that instead of like how to get out. Or they would just be like smart and get out, but then they would also go back and try to find out who killed everyone. I don't know. It could, I feel like they'd get themselves killed. Yeah, because they get so intense about certain things that they get tunnel vision, so like they don't really look at everything else, and they walk into traps unintentionally. They act like they are, like they can see through everything, but like they're really naive. So I'm sorry. Pretty much I'm just killing off all the fake signs today. And then Sagittarius would die, or Sagittarius would escape because no one's faster than at running away from problems than a Sagittarius. And then Capricorn would live, or they would just assume that they would assume their security is stronger than it actually is and get themselves killed. Like, they would, I think I already said this kind of in the thread that is not actually like this video, but similar, where they would like go home early or like find a way out, but then they, like, the killer would follow them, and they like wouldn't expect the killer to follow them, so like they would go home and like think that they had like a security breach system on in their house, but it's not on. I don't know. I feel like they would die like in some weird way where they like underestimate themselves, because I feel like they overestimate themselves. I don't know if that makes sense. And then Aquarius would live because they would be the killer. Just kidding. They'd be like the accomplice. No. They wouldn't be the killer. They'd be the person telling the killer what to do, because they're master manip. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Charles Manson, and he was like an Aquarius. I think he was an Aquarius. Was he an Aquarius? Hold on. Let's see. Charles Manson natal chart. He had, I know if he wasn't an Aquarius sun, he had like an Aquarius moon or something. I know for a fact. I really shouldn't keep like talking about serial killers and how they're just like their sign, because that's problematic. This is a problematic statement. I'm gonna get hate mail. Okay, wow, okay, so Charles Manson was a Scorpio with an Aquarius moon. So no, Aquariuses would be like the one who's like an accomplice to the actual killer, but they're not the one killing. They're like the mastermind of this whole thing, I feel. So they would live. Or they would die because they would get themselves killed, exposing themselves. No, they would live. And then Pisces would be the killer. I already said that in my Twitter thread, which is not like this video, but similar. They would be the killer, because I feel like no one underestimates a sign more than they underestimate Pisces, and that is Pisces' strongest advantage over everyone in their daily lives. And they know it, and they use it to their advantage all the time, and I feel like we still think they're like this little innocent, silent mouse, but they're a mama bear looking for cubs that you stole. So that's Pisces. Did I say Pisces or Aquarius earlier? Anyways, that completes this video. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next one in the Halloween Milkshake series. I'm gonna be producing a lot of content in the next few weeks just for Halloween, because I think it's my favorite holiday. And I'll see you in my next video.